All righty. We are going to be talking about, well, this whole fire movement that Scotty, well, he might be interested in. I think he's going to be interested in it. But what I wanted to say here before we get into all of that, if you are new to the channel, oh, wait, I'm starting to hear myself back. I must have oh, wow, that was weird. All right, Scotty, I'm back. Anyway, I had something in the background and I heard myself talking. It got a little crazy. So, what we're going to do here today is we talked last week on our live stream of how we are really talking about the same stuff, but we're actually not. And what I mean by that is we're talking more about how to use YouTube as a vehicle to help people that want to either retire early or that are behind in retirement, or if they want to do this new fire movement thing that we're going to talk about here today. So I talked to Scotty about it. We're going to walk through it. We're going to see what it looks like and how we can get there. And Scotty, let me ask you this. What does retirement look like to you? And I'm just curious because I asked this question the other day on another video that I posted here on the channel. What does retirement look like to you?
To me, retirement, I wouldn't say like not working, like I'm not saying that as retirement. For me, it's more of like, I guess the freedom to kind of do what I want to do, but yet like, for example, if I'm making content, I can kind of pick when I'm making content. So like if that's my job, if it's YouTube or whatever, or even just editing, I can choose when to do that rather than, having to clock in at a certain time. But yet also like randomly, if I don't know, if I have grandkids at the time and the grandkids are like, oh, or, they got a soccer game, I can just drop it, right away and I can go to the game, and without thinking
Yeah.
about having to set it up or I got to call out or anything like that. So like, it's kind of like I guess it's a financial freedom kind of part, but more of just like, I can kind of do what I want to do, but yet still like pick the times I want to do it, so it's not feel like I'm on a certain schedule.
Would then my question is, would you say that I'm retired?
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
Right? So I'm retired, but
Like
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, I was gonna say like okay, and this is not just toot my dad's horn and you let him have it all, but like literally like how you're living is how I want to be living. Like that's my goal, is where it's like, yes, you're very structured and you have your things of how you go throughout the day, but like you try to get done with everything, and every day is different, but you try to get done with everything around like 1-2 o'clock, and even earlier if you can, but obviously sometimes you have a live or you have a meeting or you have whatever, like
Mhm.
you have those things, but for a majority of things, like you could some of that you could go around and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go, like for Kayla, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go to her practice today, right?
Right.
Like where if you had to clock in, you wouldn't be able to do that,
Right.
or I might hit you up like right now and say, hey, can we go meet for coffee? And you'll
Mhm.
be like, yeah, let me just finish this real quick and I'll head over,
Right.
right? So it's like you kind of can just kind of just do what you not do what you want to do, but like set your own schedule how you want to and get things done on at your pace at your time,
Yeah.
um so yeah, that's how I want to be, and that's how I feel like you're living right now. I mean, you more than me. I mean, I know you still have stress, you still have the entrepreneurial hardships. Like I know all that because you tell me all of that, but I think how you're able to kind of structure your days, what I want to do. I want to have the freedom of like waking up, because like right now, like personally, I wake up at 4:30 because I want to get to the gym so that way I can get that done for my day, and then I can do like an hour of work and eat and all of that before I even go to school. Like, which it's a little overkill, but it's like I don't have as much time after school to do all that, so I kind of have to. I
Mhm.
want to feel where I'm not rushed. I feel like I'm very rushed right now. So like, for example, I did that the whole morning. I was at work, and then as soon as work's over, I rushed home so I can get on this live. I don't want to feel super rushed all the time. Like, yes, I know I'm gonna have times where I am, but like I feel like I'm super rushed, like where I'm very good at like routines and schedules and all that, but like I have to like at a certain time I have to be done with this.
Mhm.
Like, and sometimes it's like I'm starting to get like a burnout already of just that, and that's what's like hard for me.
But I think that it's the part of the reason is because you're trying to also build something on the side so
Yeah.
then you can eventually get there. And I think we've all been there. And the reason why I brought that question up is because, and I said this in a video recently, I think I'm retired. And the reason why I think I'm retired is because your typical retirement is you work for 30 years and then you clock out and then you wait till you're 62 or 65. And then from there, you basically, collect your pension if you get one, or you collect Social Security, or hopefully you've invested. The way I look at it is I'm still going to be probably doing something like this because I'll be helping people. I like doing content. I like doing video. So all of that stuff. So I guess I'd like to ask anybody else that's watching, what's your idea of retirement? Like, what does it look like for you? And I don't mean like making the money, like, let's just pretend like that was taken care of. What does it look like for your day? And a lot of people will be like, well, I'm going to go play golf all day, or I'm going to go, sit on the beach all day, or I'm going to do like, that's not realistic because you're going to get bored or you're going to get like burnout with that. It's like, there's always
that gets old quick though, too. Like,
yeah,
I hear too many people that go into retirement and they come out 3 months later because they're like, I'm bored. Like,
right.
I can do what I want, but it's like there's almost not enough structure to where
Or
it's
your
like,
health goes down, right? Your
yeah.
health goes down. We've seen that before, where people they retired and then they do less. So to me, I'm always going to be active. I want to keep the mind active. I want to keep the body active, but I also want to help people. So with that all being said, I did want to dive into this whole FIRE movement. Now, last week we talked really about this channel and how we are technically pivoting our niche. And we're still going to be talking about YouTube. We're still going to be talking about how to grow on YouTube. But really, a lot of the audience right now is people that are over 40. And that's because we had a video that kind of, I don't want to say like, it didn't go viral, but it went viral for us, right? It got over almost 30,000 views. So it's like that did pretty good for us. Posted something else on retirement. That did pretty good. So then we started to think, well, maybe we need to start going down this road. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, where does Scotty come into this now? Because Scotty's 26 years old. Well, Scotty also has heard of the FIRE movement, which is basically financial independence, retire early. And that could be for anybody. And there's this whole movement of people out there that are, they could be his age and they want to retire by the time they're 36, which then it requires, and what's usually happening with this thing is one person is trying to live on like 20% of their salary. So you're going to eat basically pork and beans for like 10 years because you're trying to save up enough money to invest. So that way there you can retire. Or you have some people that are married, and then what you do is you live on one income, and the other income you don't live on. You just invest the entire income. And then there's some people that are going to try to do a side hustle to try to do that. Well, because Scotty and I are doing this together, this YouTube channel is going to serve me and it's going to serve him. And what I mean is, for me, this is what I want to be doing for the next 10, 15 years into my retirement. Like, this is what I want to be doing. So this is what I'm starting to do right now. I'm starting to take the time and plant the seeds for this smaller channel. We have a bigger channel, Brand Creators, which, depending on when you're watching this, will be over 100,000 subscribers soon. So been building that, still going to build that. But this channel is really for my future, for being able to still earn some money, but also to be able to do something that I really enjoy. For Scotty, on the other hand, this is going to be your vehicle to hopefully get you to really fund the FIRE movement for you. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull up my screen here real quick. Let's see here. Where is it? I guess it's here. There it is. All right. So these are the questions that I want you to answer, and I want anyone else that's watching to answer this. Because if you want to build a FIRE movement plan for yourself, you have to be able to answer some of these questions. So the first one is, what age do you want to retire? Now, Scotty, I know like we're doing this channel together and you're hoping that this thing's going to be able to supplement some of your income. But let's just pretend that you have an age in mind that you're like, I'd like to have, and let's just say $1 million, right? $1 million in a retirement fund. We're not saying in a savings account, $1 million. And the reason why I'm using $1 million because, Dave Ramsey always talks about, like, if you get to $1 million, you're going to be okay. I don't know if I believe him 100% because $1 million doesn't go that far if you're drawing 4% a year, that's the 4% rule that they talk about. That'd be a $40,000 a year salary. But let's just say, Scotty, would you say, and again, like right now you're a full-time teacher. That doesn't mean you're going to be teaching for the time even that you're doing in fire, because there might be stages to this. We have to figure out what the age of the target is. And then from there, we can work backwards. But would you say, like right now you're 26, would you say like retire, meaning like you can, not that you can't do what you want to do before that, because we are going to be building in the meantime, but would you say $1 million in a retirement, like in a fund, that's going to be growing? Would you say 40?
Yeah, I was thinking between 40 and 45.
Okay. So, and again, I think people need to be realistic with this. Like, that doesn't mean that you have to be doing what you're doing for the rest of your life.
No, yeah.
Right. And so that's just a vehicle to get you to where you want to go. Right. There's going to be other things. You are taking advantage of YouTube to hopefully get you there faster.
Yep.
Right. So you would say 40. All right, cool. I like that number. Let's say 40. Let's just use 40. We can play around with 45 because we're going to run the numbers and we're going to see what we need to make and what we need to start saving in that amount of time. Right now, that'd be 14 years for you. Right. And it's funny because 14 years for you probably sounds like a long time.
No, not really.
Okay. A lot of times people are like 14 years. My gosh, that's such a long time. For me, it's like 14 years. I'm going to be 65.
Yeah.
Right. And I look at that and I don't want to rush it, but when I say, oh my gosh, I got 15 years, that's kind of a long time from where I'm going to be from now till then. And I see what my retirement will be by then. If I keep doing what I'm doing, it's exciting. I'll be older. But these are things that I also want to shoot for. So, age of retirement, let's just say 40, 45. We'll play with that. How much do you need? So at that time, again, like, so right now, what's your goal that you would want to earn per year realistically? Okay. And I'm not even saying you got to say like, it's a timeline in the next 2 years, year, two, whatever. What's a number in your head right now that you want to earn?
I've had this written down for the past 2 years. So I'm going to go this number. This number is probably a little higher than
that's okay.
You're probably going to say is I need, but I mean, with the rate of what we're going here in America, it might be up there. But right now my goal is 250. Okay.
250. Okay. So 250,000. Now, if you were to make $250,000, okay, this is where a lot of people, and this here was brought up to me by my financial advisor the other day. Okay. If you're shooting for a number, but you don't really need that. Okay. So you almost have to start off with like, what is the money that you need to make to survive?
Yeah,
so
I would say around 100, 125 maybe.
Okay. Now, you say that, but you probably have not done, well, you might have. So what I would do, and this is for anyone else that's watching this, and I don't care if you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, this exercise still has to be done. You got to figure out what's your living expenses. All right. And what do you need to keep the lights on and to keep yourself full?
Right? Okay. Are you saying live comfortably, or are you saying like no. bare minimum?
Bare minimum.
Okay. Bare minimum.
Lights are on, gas or not. You don't need gas. You got Tesla. Yeah. Everything is paid and you've got maybe $1,000 a month in extra income.
Bare minimum would be like probably 80. Okay.
So
I could live on now. I could probably live on less, but like if you're talking like where I'm at right now, as far as like a nicer, apartment or whatever, right?
No. But wait a minute. Time out. We got to time out here because you're doing what all Americans are doing, and that's why they can't retire. Right? They're not willing to put off some of that stuff in order to save more money now to get to fire quicker. You see what I'm saying? So if you're saying to yourself, yeah, but I deserve a better place. I deserve a better car. I
Oh,
deserve, I deserve.
it's not about even deserving though.
But that, okay. But
Listen,
you're like, but I'm working my butt off. I should be able to live in a better
if I
house.
was to go somewhere else, yes, you could save money, but also you're gonna like, I would have to be in probably a more dangerous area.
It's a good point.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't out of like, oh, it's because it's nice. Like, because honestly, I could go somewhere more probably in the city that's more expensive. That's more of like a penthouse. You know, like I could, but I'm not there, and I don't want that either. But like where I'm at is like a good spot, but it's like I think like this is like as far as like safety wise, I don't have to worry about my car getting broken into all the time. I don't have to worry about like little things like where I don't feel safe with me or if I have kids, you know, like or when I have kids, you know, like
Okay. So what I'm trying to find though is a baseline that you can go off of right now. And you're thinking to yourself, even say for the next 10 years, you're going to keep everything. You're going to be very smart with your money. You're not going to go and spend things on silly things. You're not going to upgrade your car. You're not going to do all that stuff. You know, Lila, your wife, she's got a car that's paid for. You're not upgrading the car. You're just not. You don't need to. Right? It's those types of things. And again, I'm trying to get to like baseline. So if you were at baseline where everything is right now, and then you also got to figure then you're going to be putting money away, right? So you're like, I got to make like $5,000 a month to pay for everything, which would be 60 grand a year. So 60, 80, somewhere in that range.
yeah.
Sure. That fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So now we have to ask ourselves, okay, how much can we invest? Again, that's going to come down to how much you're making, how much you have to have, you know, and all that stuff. These are not questions that we're going to answer in full right now. And then where to invest. And I'm a big fan of like the SP 500, keeping it simple, Roth IRA, because then any money you make on that, you're going to be able to just take out without paying any tax on it. All right. So those are the questions that we have to answer and we have to ask ourselves. So now what I want to do, okay, is I want to pull up the other screen, and that is this one right here. And this is Dave Ramsey's retirement calculator. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to put in here your age. You're 26. We're going to put in here, we're going to play with these numbers. We're going to say 40. And we're going to say in investments right now, you have savings right now, but you don't have anything in investments.
Correct.
Right. We're going to change that because you and I were going to have a sit down and we were going to get that stuff set up. But let's just say you have right now 0. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we're going to go here and say, how much can we invest? So right now, if we were to do this plan and you want to be at $1 million by the time you're at the age of 40, okay. If you're at that, we would have to, and I'm just going to go ahead and say
it's around 4,500.
You already did the math.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just curious to see what $1,000 would do. Because we got to go down here. Now, the average rate of return on the SP 500 is 10 to 12%. Yeah, 10 to 12%. This here, I'm going to say 9%, be conservative. You'd have $334,000 in your retirement. You'd have 168 that you put in and 166 that it would grow. So you'd basically double it. So then you would think if we added here $2,000, that should probably double, right? Almost.
Yep. And
then let's do 3,000. And I'm just doing this to play with numbers. There we are. You're technically at $3,000 at 9% of a return. Now, if this changes and goes to 8% on average, it comes down to 924. Okay. If this goes up to 10, we're at 1.9. So really you need to be able to do 3,000. I would shoot for $3,000 a month. Now, right now you might be like, I only got $1,000 that I can allow for that per month. Okay. That's where YouTube comes in. Right now, eventually you might be like, yeah, but maybe you want to leave your teaching position. Now you got to replace that income and you got to stack on top of that. And that's where you're talking like, I'd want to make 250,000. That's a great number and all. And then you can speed this process up because now you can do maybe $5,000 a month. What would happen if you did 5,000 a month at 9%? You'd be at 1.6. And the crazy thing is
that's only 14 years.
That's only 14 years. And do you want to see something really crazy?
And that's 25 years younger than
yes,
when, retirement
it's 26 years younger than you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Right. So now let's say that you got here. Mm-hmm. This is actually really, really cool. If you got here, let's say that you got to the million. Let's just say that you got to the million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then let's say that you have in current investments, you've got $1 million and your age is now 40 and you're going to wait until you're 67 and you're not going to put any more money in. So let's say at 40, you just take what you invested, that $1 million, and you let it sit there and it still grows at the 9%. Let's see here. You're going to do 0. 11.2. Now, this is $1 million, right? I didn't do that wrong, did I? I got the right amount of zeros in there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because if I do that, yep, I had it right. So if you had $1 million and you were 40 years old and you let that ride out until you were 67, you'd have $11.2 million in there. Now that's if it did the 9% return. Let's say it had a really bad average of 8%. You're still at 8.6. But see the difference on 1% makes?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? So my point is this.
And what if it was 10?
If what was 10? Oh, 10%? Oh, it's going to go way up. That's going to be crazy numbers.
I think like 14.
Yep. Right. So my point is this, it might be in stages for you. You might say, I want to get $1 million saved by the time I'm 40. So I can basically let it sit there and grow even more because then it's going to compound on itself. And by then this channel might be the main thing, right? Or maybe it's something else. But the point is you need to be able to think longer term and think to yourself, $3,000.
Hey, do me a favor. So change the age back to 26.
Okay.
And then 40 for the other.
Yep.
Put 330,000 in there.
330 in here?
Yep. Because that was what $1,000 a month was.
Yep.
And then put in $1,000. Keep $1,000 in there.
Oops. Well, why am I doing the 33?
I'm sorry. I meant no, keep that. I meant the top age. I meant to keep the top. Keep it at 40.
Oh, enter 67. Current age at 40. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And then make this 67.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't contribute anymore.
No,
right?
I want to keep contributing.
Oh, and
only $1,000 though. That's why I want to see what it is.
Yeah. It's at 4.2.
4.2. Okay. I'm just curious.
So if you I see what you're doing, right? You work up to something to get 330 grand. Once you get the 330 grand, you let that sit in there for another 25 years.
Yeah.
And then that's going to grow to 4.2.
Yeah.
Right. So the point is for you, because you're at such a young age, it's like, okay, where do you start? You start with right now what you can afford.
Yeah.
And it might be like right now you can afford $1,000 a month, but how do you get that other 2? That's where YouTube comes in.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, what do we got to do to get there? Well, we got to spend a year basically putting in the time and the energy. Yes, money will start to follow, but we also have to know that we're building this thing so it can be like a retirement fund.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I think anyone that is at the point of where they're thinking to themselves, I don't think I'm going to be able to have enough money for retirement. If you're, right now, like this you might be 50, 60 years old and you might be like, I don't have anything for retirement. I would start the YouTube channel and let that be my supplemental to the retirement.
Yep.
Because it's going to take longer for the money to grow in the SP 500 than it would be if you just focused on YouTube and you started to make an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. I literally just did a video yesterday of a guy who started a fishing channel, and he's over 50, started a fishing channel about 7 years ago. He's getting about 700,000 views a month. I did the math on like $4 for every 1,000, and that was about 3,000. I know he's making affiliate commissions of probably 1,000 or 2, and he has an opportunity to do sponsorship. So he could be making $6,000, $7,000 from a YouTube channel, and it's all basically just him fishing, right? Not a lot to it. Now people would say, well, it sounds too simple. No, it takes work. You got to put the work in, right? Let me pull up this real quick just to show people the kind of like the plan that we're following. So this is, I put this together. It's what I call the 100K YouTube creator business plan. And basically this goes over our entire process. This is what we call the attention, the relationship, the money, the arm of the business, really. And it's really the attention, the relationship, and the money. And these are some of the channels that we've used this for, including Live Video School. And then here, if we look at the 10,000 foot view, we have it right here. So, and I've done this before. I'm going to bring my little pen out here. We have the niche. That's what we're focusing on. And it takes some time. That's why I'm saying, give yourself 12 months to build this thing out, to get this thing going, right? Because after a year, we might make $100,000 on this channel. We might be at that level. Well, if we are, Scotty, do you think you're going to have some extra money to put into that retirement?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Yep.
So it starts with this, and this sometimes takes some time. And we've been at this for 3.5, almost 4 months, maybe 4 months now.
No,
and
I think we're going in our 5th month right now.
Our 5th month. And we're just finally getting settled into the niche. Right? But then it comes down to this. We got to basically get the attention. How? By posting videos. And those videos are going to help people. They're going to show our personality, and we're going to capture the email address, which is really, really important right here. And then from there, and only then, are we going to start building out the relationship, doing that through email. So this way here, we can do this over here, build deeper relationships and make offers. And then from there, that's where the money's going to follow. And then once we have that going, I mean, this is the key piece though. And Scotty, you know this. This right here is the key piece.
Yep.
Right? And guys, by the way, if you want a copy of this, just put 100K in the comments. Just put 100K in the comments. We'll send you a copy of this. This basically is what you'll need in order to grow this thing to $100,000 a year. Imagine you're heading into retirement. And you're not Scotty's age. You're not 26 and you're going to do the fire movement, right? Like I'm past the fire movement, right? I'm like, I need to do it now. So I could think to myself, if I was at the stage of my life where I was like, I got no money in retirement, I need to basically make some money for my retirement. What am I going to do? I'm going to probably start a YouTube channel. I'm going to give it 12 months and I'm going to try to get it to $1,000 a month. And once I get it to 1,000 a month, I know I'm going to probably get it to 2 and 3 because I'm going to be following this model right here. And I've done this time and time again. And so my goal would be to make $100,000 a year for my retirement. Most retired people are not making 100 grand. I don't know what the average is. I heard something, but I don't want to say it's for sure because I don't 100% know, but I think it's like $50,000, $40,000 to $50,000. So you could be way above average. So that's the plan. And that's really what we're going to be doing moving forward. Any questions on that, guys, in the comments? Let us know if you have anything. Rex says, you can live in France or Italy and Netherlands and live way cheaper than in the US. It's an option. It's an option. DBC said, Scott, I signed up for the 100K, but for some reason or another, never got it. I might have missed it in the spam or something. Not sure. Yeah. If you want, DBC, you can send an email or, you know what, just comment once again, comment. And then that way there we'll know to send it to you and I'll send you the link. But if you go there and you enter your name and email address and you're not getting it in your email, it's probably going to spam or promotions. So you might want to look in that. And then you can always just reach out to me. You can get me directly at scott@brandcreators.com. I always answer that one. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, that's funny. Honestly, you could live out of your Tesla and say this as a fellow Tesla owner. You could. You absolutely could. But no, I mean, we wanted to share this today because this is a conversation that Scotty and I have been having. And really the channel, like we talked about last week, really is going to be switching more around YouTube for retirement. And what I mean by that is like using YouTube to build your retirement fund, whether you're 26 or you're 46. It's just a great thing for that. And last week we had some videos that I posted that did pretty well that were around that. And I can actually pull those stats up because I always like to give you guys some stats too. Those of you that have been watching these lives or been tuning into the lives. Anything else, Scotty, you wanted to add on that?
No, I think it's just getting started, honestly. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to get started. And my whole thing is I've been trying to I'm very competitive with myself, but with people around me as well. And I want to be ahead of people my age. That's my goal, is to be ahead of people my age. And I feel like I'm ahead in some aspects, but I want to be ahead now with already thinking of retirement and investing and all of that, because I think a lot of people right now my age are more focused on, because they have to, paying off their debts. I'm lucky to not really have any debt, besides my car. That's like really the only debt I have. So it's like now's the time where, before I have kids and everything, to invest as much as I can, because kids are gonna eat up all my money. I know,
Yeah.
I'm your kid, and I ate up a lot of your money with sports, so I get that too. Plus, obviously you got three of us, so yeah, we ate up your money pretty good. But no, I do want to get ahead, and because I'm just thinking, like, I mean, you ever think of this, like, even for starting a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Think about, like, if you never started it, okay, and then you get a year later, maybe, right? Or even this, okay? Let's say I'm going to use last year. It's 2023, and we're talking about making this channel, but we don't make it until 2024, right? And then maybe it starts getting some traction and closer to 2025. Maybe it took a whole year, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, and you started that in 2023, you would have been 2 years in, and you probably would have been way ahead of where you're at then, but you decided to procrastinate for a year, and then now you're a year behind, right? So like, I keep thinking of that, and like, I don't want to get behind, and I also want to be like, I'm so like grateful that I decided to make that decision to do this, right? Whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's investing, whether it's whatever, like, smart decisions. Like, I can't wait till later when it pays off, and I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I sat down my dad, set up a Vanguard account, and ended up, saving all, or, investing all this money. And now I'm like pretty well off, like that's my goal, is to like look back at that and be like, oh, I got that. Same thing with YouTube channel. Like, we started as another channel, then we, totally shifted to this channel, started getting some traction, and it's only been 5 months, but like, we could have stopped after the first 2 months where it kind of wasn't doing much, right? Didn't really hit till the third month.
Well, I mean, yes, you're 100% right. And that's, it's pretty mature of you to think of it that way too, by the way, 26 and having a little bit of that patience, because that's really what it does. And I think sometimes patience comes with age, but I'm 52 and sometimes I don't have patience. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, we're putting out really good content and some of it just does not hit, and it gets frustrating. But I do know that by us being consistent, us staying true to who we are, what we're doing, you and I being father son, I think is something that people would be interested in, tagging along on, and really just kind of figuring it out as you go and not having all the answers. And so I agree with you. Like, if we didn't start this when we did, we would be thinking to ourselves, I wonder if, or man, I wish we would have started that, a year ago.
Yeah.
But now we've already started. So, I mean, the hardest part to me is getting started. The second hardest part is continuing to stay motivated to keep putting out content.
Yeah. And I look at it like this too. Like for me personally, like I feel like when you can look back at that situation, you're like I told you before, like I'm so happy I made that decision, right? Well, I look at it like with you. So when I was in college still, and it was right around COVID, maybe right before COVID, when I started, like I really first started like editing your videos and stuff. Like you asked me to kind of be a part of the team and be like, hey, why don't you do some of this work for me, blah, blah. And even before the videos, if you remember when you were teaching about blog content and stuff, I was, pinning, Pinterest posts, and I was, creating little pictures for your blogs. Like I was doing all that stuff. And then we shifted, and I shifted with you, and I learned things along the way. And then I learned editing, and then then we switched, and that was editing for talking about like just building a brand and email list. That wasn't even talking about Etsy. And then we make a pivot to Etsy, and then we grew that. We almost grew 80,000 subscribers off that in 2 years. And I'm like, oh, I was a part of that. And if I didn't stay with you through it, and I just was like, I don't want to do it, like I'll let you do it, or you can hire someone. Because I remember you said that, you're like, listen, if you're not going to do it, like I'll just hire someone. And so I was like, no, I want to do it. I want to stay with it. I feel like, we can make this somewhere. And then like I am where I am here, where like obviously I'm doing, pretty good as far as my situation with everything, and, what I'm getting from the business and from, teaching and stuff. But it's also like, I'm so far along where if I didn't start before, it'd be like tough right now to jump in. Like we wouldn't have this channel at all. Like this wouldn't even be a thing,
Yep.
like, so, and now it's like, that was my one worry, remember, but you're like, just don't worry about it. Cause because your business is like, you start somewhere, but you might end up somewhere else. Like you didn't
Just a stepping stone.
When you got into Amazon, you didn't start with looking up Amazon stuff. You were reselling or doing retail arbitrage on eBay.
Right.
And then, and then you're learning about private label, and then you like switch that. And then even photography and all your different things, like you were all over the place. Yeah. Bring out the take action effect. Speaking of,
that's why I wrote this book.
Speaking of,
that's why I wrote this book, guys.
I forgot to tell you about
this
a month ago. I finished it.
You finished it finally. So, guys, I wrote this book about 4.5, 5 years ago. And really, it's called The Take Action Effect, because I'm a believer, and this will tell you a bunch of stories, but this here, and you can find this on Amazon. It's also on Audible. I recommend the Audible. I mean, the hardcover is nice and all. You have a soft cover. You can get it on Amazon, Take Action Effect. I don't make much money on it, guys. Honestly, this is not like a game changer. It's really more of a business card in a sense, to where people get to know you as a person. So I wouldn't recommend writing one of these until you've gotten some experience, and it's an undertaking. But I'm glad I did, because this really was a piece that I wanted to leave behind for my kids, is really what it was. So that way they could listen to my voice on the audio. They could hear the stories, because this goes back to the day I was making $7 an hour for my father's construction company. And then eventually I was able to make my first 7 figures online. So all the stories in here are their take action moments. And to me, it's like every single time that you do something, people think like what you're working on has to be the thing you're going to do forever. And it's not going to be. I'll promise you it will not be. Like me doing this channel with you right now, Scotty, was not even a thought 2 years ago.
Yep.
Like I wouldn't think I'd be here, right? Like when I was doing the Amazon, my podcast, I never would have thought I would have did that podcast when I was doing the photography stuff, right? I just never thought it. I never thought I'd be talking and teaching and sharing and helping people build and grow businesses. I just wouldn't. But it happened because I did the things before. So everything that you do, as long as you're taking steps to get better, to grow, and like Scotty, the point I was always trying to instill in you was like, I know right now this isn't exactly what you want to do, but what you're doing right now is going to lead you to where you're supposed to go. And it's the skills that you're building. The skills that you're building here or that you built over there are going to be brought into this endeavor.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, it's little things too, which I like literally has been going on with me this week. Like I've been kind of like, be honest, like I don't even know it's burnt out. It's not really that I'm tired of that. It's more of like, I just have a high demand for myself where I want to be. And like, I told you today, like, you know, you look at other people and where they're at and their channels at, and it's like, it's not even about having like luxury stuff or anything like that. For me, it's more of like, dang, I've been working hard at this for years. Like on another channel, now this channel, I'm doing the same thing other people are doing, and I feel like it's better, and it's not getting, like you said, not getting, you know, the views, and we think it's really good content, and we're, you know, putting everything into it. But, you know, I just got to be patient through it all. Plus, I got to be blessed of what I do have right now. Like I told myself this yesterday. I was like, I went out to go charge my car, and I was like, and this is not the flex or nothing like that, but like years ago, like, and I say years ago, probably 2 years ago, before I had my Tesla, I had a little Dodge Dart that I paid, like, I don't even know, it was cheapy. But anyway, that was all I could afford at the time, and I was like, you know, I want to have a Tesla, you know, like, and it wasn't even just Tesla. I just want to have a nice car that was like brand new, that, you know, I worked hard for. Like that was my goal. And obviously Teslas were big when they first came out. And I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to drive a Tesla, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I was like, my goal, and I don't know if I wrote it down, but I know my goal was by I'm 30. When I'm 30, I want to have a Tesla. That was my goal, was like 30.
There you go.
And then when I was 25, I got it. And so I was like, did not expect that to happen at all. I didn't think, you know, that I was going to be at that position to do that soon. But then I was like, okay, it kind of worked out, you know, and it wasn't something, it wasn't a stupid purchase for me where it was like, I'm out a bunch of money, you know, like it wasn't like that, but it just gave me a realization. I'm like, oh shoot, like I have that right now, you know, like a lot of people don't. And it's not about even having the car, but it's having a nice car that runs, that's new, that's whatever, that a lot of people can't do. Right. I'm in an apartment, but I'm in a nice apartment. You know, it's something that I was able to last year, went from a single bedroom to a 2-bedroom, right? Bunch of changes that I was like, I didn't think I'd be able to do it this young.
And you don't appreciate it though until you look back.
Because you're just like, I did it, and then like you're happy about it, but then it's like now it's normal. I just drive that everywhere. I don't think of like, oh, it's a Tesla. You know, like I don't think of it like that. It's just like that's my car, you know. But now it's like, oh, like, you know, 2 years ago I would have been like, no way. Like I would have told myself like, ain't no way you're getting 2 years. How are you gonna do it? That's what I would have said. I was like, ain't no way. How are you gonna do that? So it's
the whole point is though, it's like we just have to understand, like you can compare yourself to other people, but when you compare yourself, it's going to take away from your own mental, because everyone can say, oh, look at them, they're doing so great. But then in actuality, they might not be doing great. They might not be happy. They might not have their health. They might not have a good family. Like, so you can't compare. We have to focus on where we want to be and what's going to make us happy. And it's constant. Like I fall into that trap even to this day.
Yeah.
But I have to remind myself of what I have, and a guy that never went to college, a guy that barely graduated high school, is terrible test taker, you know, and being able to be where I am today, I got to sometimes step back and give myself a pat on the back. And sometimes it's hard for myself even to do that, because I still feel like I'm that same kid that was struggling in high school. You know what I mean? But to other people, they might look up to me, you know, and it's like, it's hard to imagine that. So I just think anyone watching, if you have any of these thoughts, they're normal, and just try to just keep reminding yourself of like what you want, but not necessarily material. And I know, Scotty, you talked about like having these certain things, and I have too, but not so much that you can flex it. It's more of like, oh, I
more of an appreciation for working hard for something. It's like you're rewarding yourself for it. Like, and it's not and okay, that's like flashy stuff. Let's not even talk about like material stuff. Let's talk about, for example, like I'm able to bring good groceries home every week.
Right.
Like, and when I want to go out to eat, like I can go out to eat and I'm not really stressing about it. You know, like that's things I'm able to do right now that like I would have killed for before, you know, like I can go to the grocery store and I can get, you know, organic stuff and pay a little bit more because I know I'm going to be able to put good stuff in my body. Right. And I can do that, where before, you know, it might've been, you know, I'm going to buy the not as good brand, you know, or whatever.
Processed food and all that
processed food. Yeah. Like, you know, all this stuff that, you know, not getting the name brand of meats, maybe, you know, like, you know, get the cheaper because, you know, it's cheaper, you know, and that's all I can really afford right now. So It's just yeah, exactly. DVC ramen, right? That was more in my college time, but yeah, ramen for sure.
So I did want to bring up this here, and because I was going to bring this up before. Comparing stats with other channels can only go so far. Being over obsessed with stats is a trap for sure, and I agree. And here's the thing: I think that we need to realize is like you can have subscribers, and you can go, oh, I've only got 100 subscribers, but I want you to think about it like you have 100 people in a room. That room is packed, right? Like that room, like you put 100 people in a normal size room, it's packed. Like Scotty, over in your clubhouse at the apartment complex, if we put 100 people in that place, it'd be packed,
Oh yeah,
right?
shoulder to shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have to think about that. And like even for us with our channel right now, and because we're doing the things that we're sharing with you guys, we're building an email list. You know, I just checked before we got on here and I wrote an email, very quick email, because I was in a hurry. I almost forgot. And I wrote an email to 514 people. Those 514 people raised their hand because they either downloaded our 100K roadmap or our hooks guide. Those are the two ways that you can become part of our email list. 514 people joined that. All right. And I was able to reach out to those people and tell them that we're going to do this live. Now, whether they come over or not, whether they don't open the email till tomorrow morning, I don't know, but they signed up to hear more from us. 500 people. Scotty, at my live event, you were there. We had just about 200 people.
Yeah, it felt like way more though, but yeah.
Right? So put 500 people in a room and then you're going to have their attention. Not everybody. Let's say you got 300 of them. Okay. Yep. But that's another reason why we like building an email list, guys. All right. And again, that's part of our 100K roadmap. And this is how we do build our email list. If you want a copy of that in the comments, just put 100K. We'll send you a link. That link will take you to a page. That page will ask for your email and we will then send it to you. So yeah, just put 100K in the comments and we'll send that to you. And that's how it works. And for us, it's going to be interesting for us to go back a year from now and even watch this, or even just look back at this. I look at this as like a little diary that we're doing right now that we can look back on and go, remember when we were talking about how we had 500 email subscribers? Now we have 5,000 or 20,000. Remember that, right? It's like, it's good to almost do that. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Also though, I wanted to answer this. One leg nomad. I'm an amputee building a van to travel the country as a motivational speaker. How do I turn my focus into this being a true business and income? And this is a really, really great question. And I think you definitely have the potential to turn this into a full-fledged business. First off, it's sharing your story, which you might have already done, but it's, even though you shared your story once, we have to share it multiple times in multiple ways that can help people in different areas of their life. Because I'm going to say, if you're a motivational speaker, there's been times that you've felt like stopping or giving up, or you just didn't want to move on or whatever, right? Those are videos that you're going to create that's going to help someone at a certain stage in their life, right? So for you, there's other people that have, lost a leg or an arm or whatever. And then you're going to be able to help that person when they are feeling at their worst. Right. And so to me, that's something that you're going to build an audience of people that want to hear from you. Now, yes, the motivational stuff is great, but you also got to have something else in there where then maybe you have a mentorship, right? Where then maybe you can, and I don't want to say counseling, but it's kind of like a coach where then someone could get on with you and you might meet with them once a week or once a month, and you charge for that. I mean, therapists charge for their services. Why not a life coach in a sense, right? And that's kind of what you would be. The other thing you could do is you could reach out to schools and events and they would pay you to speak, right? But you need the audience. And your first stage in this thing, your first stage is what I shared back here. Let me go back here. I just want to share this again. Let me see here. Get that up. that wasn't the one I wanted to share. Although I did want to share that, but I can share that maybe after. Let me share this one. But you're right here, right? You're right here. You're finding your niche, which is basically you've got your niche, but you got to kind of start putting out messages that you see what resonates. What's your age? Are you over 40? Then maybe it's an over 40 amputee, right? Something along those lines. And then that way there, you're going a little bit more niche, but you're also then going to be able to broaden that out. But then from here, you're in this phase right now, right? That's where you are. And then if you build that email list, you're right here. So these are the only two things that I'd be focusing on right now. And to me, there's ways now. I'll tell you what, you're doing your van over, right? Maybe there's special things you're doing in there to help accommodate you. Do videos on that, right? Like do videos on what you're doing to make your life better, to make your life easier as an amputee, right? That's some stuff. So that's what I would be doing. I would want to see also if there's other people out there that have already done it, and then you can kind of learn from those people and their content of what they've done.
Yeah, I thought you said a good thing too that he could do would be even going to schools or reaching out to schools and stuff as you go cross country or whatever. And first start off, like before you have the audience, start off by offering free, like pitch yourself, and then be able to, share whatever inspirational stories you want to talk about or motivational speaking or whatever. And then I would record all your live stuff, and now you have some content from that too.
Yeah.
So like I would number one, talk about your journey. So the first journey might be, going across the country, or building a van, to go across the country to share my message as an amputee, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then along the way, you're like, maybe you come up with a series, I'm going to stop in every state across, in a straight line from where I'm at. Right. And in every state, I'm going to pick 3 schools to go to, and I'm going to talk to the kids, whatever, and give them a different message, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then you record that, but then you also record in the schools and you record doing that, or maybe it's a church or wherever. Right. Like, and then you can, now people are going to see you on stage. You're even going to have more power to the viewer because now it's like someone had you on stage. Yeah. Even though they don't know it was free, you were on stage, right? And then eventually you start getting some traction. Like he said, you build the audience, then now it's going to be, people are going to reach out to you. Hey, can you come to our school and we'll pay you $5,000, pay you $10,000, whatever it is. Right. So I think just that also would be like pretty big, is documenting the journey of what you're doing, but then also like making some pit stops along the way to, encourage more,
Yeah. And as you start to level that up, you can start speaking at other types of events, even like company events, right?
Yep.
And because your story necessarily isn't just for people that are amputees, it's for someone that's had this happen and they're here and they were able to keep their spirits up. What are you complaining about? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you're going to be that one that's like, listen, if I'm doing it, what are you complaining about? Right. And so I've seen this at business marketing events. I've seen them have speakers come in that had, life-changing accidents and things. And it's there to show you like, look at me, look what I'm doing. I'm actually now speaking on the stage for you and getting paid. Right. I didn't stop. I kept getting up every day, So I think that's the inspiration there can also go further than just schools and those types of events. Yeah. And DBC said, a great point, record your journey to get to the point of motivational speaking. Again, another thing you could do. So I like that. I'm thinking starting building an audience by vlog style content while you're building the van and getting ready would be one way to go. I agree. I think that's a good one. Rex said, Scotty, I just got 4 subs on my little channel. LOL. I drive a pickup truck. You're blessed. It's true.
It's true.
Yep. But hey, you got 4 people in that room. Talk to them. This one here. Oh yeah. I wanted to put in Mind Nourish. Evening. Peter from the UK here. 56 years old. Started my channel a month ago and got 61 subs from following your content. Mind Nourish.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Love to hear that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. I'm 56 years old, young, just getting started. Just getting started. Love it. All right. I think that is going to wrap her up for today, unless you got anything else, Scotty. But guys, if you guys want that guide, like I said, 100K, just put that in the comments. We'll send you a copy. Yes, you'll become part of our email list. We'll send out 1 or 2 emails a week at this point. Oh, you know what? Someone else did bring up a really good point. I saw this and I was going to bring it up and I forgot about it. Right here, Tammy. Tammy says, here's an idea for your channel. Consider doing discovery calls with your email list. I don't know what my niche could be, but I am 56 and I have years of professional experience. So I think what Tammy is saying is you could reach out to your email list if you have one, or in our case, our email list, and we could say, hey, you want help figuring out your niche? You want help figuring out your content? You want help figuring out your titles? Let's do a one-on-one call. Like, we could totally do that. And honestly, I have done that for my other businesses. And then you would charge for that. But honestly, I wouldn't mind doing that. That does consume more time. You can't really help more people I like groups. And so Scotty and I have talked about it. We may do something in the future to where we do, like, maybe it's a 4-week workshop or mastermind, where then we would have a small group, a little cohort come in, and then we would basically mastermind helping each other. And you'd get access to myself and Scotty. Let us know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in putting together like a group mastermind for growing your YouTube channel. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, I agree. I think if you had that email list, you can always do that. All right, cool. I think that's going to wrap it up. So this was good. So Scotty's got his plan pretty much. And we will be reporting back on that. We'll let you know. I know probably either this weekend or next week, we are going to sit down and get his investments started. I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a retirement expert, but I do know Vanguard pretty much can go over there and set this stuff up probably in about 15 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and get that started. So at least that's going. And then we'll start reporting here on the channel on how Scotty's journey to fire is going. So that'll be Scotty's little check-in that he'll have to do month by month. So we can kind of keep that going. We can also see where the money is coming from as far as if there's any YouTube money. Scotty, you know what I want to do next week though? I want you to give me a tally on what we've earned from this channel so far.
Okay, I can do that.
You know what I mean? And then that way there, we can go ahead and kind of give people updates, so we can kind of bring people up to date on what the channel's earning, but also keep like a little journal going.
Cool.
Yeah. And mine, Nourish says, count me in on that. Cheers. And yeah, critiquing our channels, that would be part of the mastermind for sure. And then Tammy said, that's a great idea. I understand the time commitment. Yeah. Again, it's not something that we were saying we will never do. But I like the group settings, small group settings. I like those. I've done them before. They work really well. I think people get a lot out of them. So we might do that. Not sure yet, but if you're on our email list, you'll hear about it. We're going to wait a little bit longer, but we've got a date, or not even a date. We've got a number of subscribers we want to hit before we actually open up any type of mastermind or any type of coaching. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Have an awesome, amazing day. Take care. Take action. We'll talk to you soon. Keep recording, guys. Keep recording.
See you.